Hello, my lovely ladies. Welcome to Always Classy and Elegant. I am Brandy, your host, coach, and mentor, and I am here to help you get the information you need to navigate life's circumstances with social grace and ease. Today, I want to talk to you about planning, but before I get into the benefits and the things for the future, let me first give you a little bit of background about where this is coming from. So, a couple of weeks ago, it was a Sunday, and I had cooked what was almost a Thanksgiving meal. And even though I clean as I cook, at the end of that meal, there were still some dishes remaining that needed to be cleaned. And I was so tired because I'd been on my feet in the kitchen all day long. I'd been washing dishes pretty much all afternoon long. So by the time the evening came, I was just sick and tired of washing dishes, and I was tired, period. So I did briefly have a thought that I could just leave these here for the morning and take care of them then. But then I told myself, no, I'm already here doing this, even though I'm tired. Let me just push through because then I'll feel better about myself going to bed knowing that I cleaned up everything after cooking everything. I'll have that sense of accomplishment, even though it's very small. But then also in the morning, when I got up and came into my kitchen, I would feel so much better walking into a nice, neat, and pristine kitchen as opposed to walking into a mess of dishes that I still had to deal with. So I thought about how I would feel at the end of the day, the evening, going to bed, and then again in the morning, and how the things that I am doing in that moment sets the tone not only for the evening, but for the next day. And then I got to thinking that, well, really, when we do these things day in and day out, not only does it set the tone for our days, but really it can set the tone for our entire lives. So I thought, why not be intentional about how we not only go into our evening and how we start our days, but why not be intentional in planning the environment and atmosphere for our entire lives? So I thought, let me start a series on planning, and this is going to be just the first kickoff video so that you guys have an idea of where this is coming from. But I thought, since planning has so much power in setting not only our mood as far as goes, whatever it is that we might be doing at any given moment, but it's got the power to really determine our life course. So why not be intentional and deliberate about our planning? So that's what this is really about, the entire series that I'm planning. It's about intentionality and being deliberate in the things that we choose to do every day. And to start, it starts with every day. It starts with the right now, right? So we can think about, how do we want to go into our evenings, which will in turn set the tone for our morning. How do we like to start each day? And then ultimately, what do we want our life to look like? What do we want it to feel like? So I'm coming to you with this kickoff video for this series because I've noticed, just in thinking in that moment, about how powerful it is when we do things with intentionality and when we're deliberate. So to start, just a little bit about me, I like to create a particular atmosphere for my evenings. I like to do certain things to wind down, like light my candles or have a diffuser going that's going to provide a scent that makes me feel great. I like to wear pajamas or nighties that make me feel good. And I like to have the lighting and the temperature and mood in my room as such that really calms me down. And then the other activities that I engage in are activities that help me to wind down. So I do like to read as I go to sleep, and I try to, after a certain point, put my phone away so that I don't have extra blue light keeping me up and that I can fall asleep at a reasonable hour. And that's the other thing. I try to go to sleep at a reasonable hour. So right there, that's doing things with intentionality and being deliberate with the things that I do, and being specific about what I want for my evening. I'm the same way when I wake up in the morning. And I think when you start the evening on a note that makes you feel good and relaxed, it kind of sets things off on like a clean slate for your morning so that you can ease into the morning. And that's what I like to do. Even on weekdays when I have to come into my home office and log into my computer and work, I still like to ease into the morning. So again, I establish the scent for the day via my diffusers. Usually that's what I use. And then I've got my routine of certain things that I like to do that make me feel good, things that I do while I'm getting dressed, and then after I get dressed, be it starting my day with my coffee and then taking supplements. But my point here is not necessarily to tell you all about my evening and morning routines, but I'm sharing with you that I do specific things pretty much every day to get a particular outcome. So how do we do that on a broader scale for our lives? Well, first, since we're planning, we need to sit down and think about, what is it that I want? How do I want my life to feel? What do I want it to look like? This might take a little bit more thought for some than it does others, but I think it's important to do, and even to write it down after we've thought it through, and then to come back and revisit that every so often so that we can identify, am I on track with what I've written down here? Are the things that I do every day in line with what I said I want my life to look like? In addition to just identifying your vision of what you want your life to look like and how you want it to feel, what are the things that you can do on a daily basis that will help make that a reality for you? These can be little things such as candles, scents, massaging your feet, your scalp, I don't know, whatever. I'm just throwing some things out there. And they can also be big things. Maybe you need to move to a new neighborhood, a new city, a new state altogether. Maybe you want to completely change your life, and you can do that by moving. Or maybe it's just with what you drive or the types of friends that you have, the way you dress. It can be anything. You have to decide that for yourself. But again, I come back to the base point of putting some thought into it, making sure that you're clear about whatever it is that you want, and then making sure that every day you're doing things that get you closer and closer to that realizing whatever it is that you want for your life, and being intentional and deliberate about your planning. And so once you've got that clarity, you can also then better avoid yourself from getting distracted. So if you are someone who tends to fall back into old habits, I think most of us do. I do organizational change management for a living, and what that is it's helping people navigate through changes that their company might be enacting. So it's the people side of change, but we all have the tendency to revert back to past habits. And the reason why is we tend to be people or creatures who like what is familiar and what feels comfortable. And it can be hard to establish a new pattern or habit, a different way of doing things, but it is possible. It takes repetition. It takes awareness, self-awareness, and it does take the discipline. So if you are someone who has a little bit of a harder time with adapting to a change, I don't want to use the corporate terms here, but enacting changes in your life, again, having that vision of what you want it to not only look like, but what you want it to feel like, and just reminding yourself about how great you will feel on a daily basis when you do the things that are going to get you closer to the vision of how you want your life to be. Those are some things that are going to help you stay on track. But don't beat yourself up if you fall back. It happens. The thing is, get back on your path and keep doing the things that are going to get you closer to your goals, and eventually it will become habit. So what are the benefits of planning? How does that add into or tie into class and elegance? Well, if you've noticed, the classiest of women, they plan. They always have a plan for pretty much everything. And having the plan for pretty much everything, be it how they're going to groom themselves or their daily, monthly maintenance and in their grooming and styling, it's planned. Their life work, it's planned. The benefit of planning is it helps you to have a sense of calm about yourself, especially when you've done it in advance. You're not scrambling or scurrying at the last minute. You're not feeling frazzled, which definitely takes away from you being poised and feeling elegant. But when you're cool, calm, and collected, you're poised and you can walk into any situation like, I've got this all under control. Even if you don't, you know, for the most part, you planned as best as you can. That adds to your class and elegance. It adds to the way you show up in the world, and it definitely does so in a positive way. So we're talking about confidence here and elegance, not arrogance, because there is a difference. So we don't want to feel like we've got everything under such control to the point of being arrogant, but it's about being confident that we've done our best. We've paid attention to the details, so we're not having to scramble to think things through at the last minute. We're not having to scramble to find, well, where's this, or where's that, or what should I do here? We've got it figured out, so then we're able to ease into things. So that's it for right now. I hope you come back to check out the rest of the series. The next video I plan to do correlates along with my blogs, and that is around dealing with difficult people. The thought here is that we've got the holidays coming up, and with that, there are gatherings and events that might put some of us around some people that are not necessarily easy to get along with, or maybe we, for whatever reason, just don't necessarily care for them. Maybe they do or say things that just really rub us the wrong way. I want to share with you some tips on how to handle those people, but guess what that entails? You got it. It requires planning in advance for what they might do, anticipating the things that they might do, and planning in advance how you will handle it. So please come back for that video. In the meantime, I encourage you to go over to my website, alwaysclassyelegant.org, and check out my blog. There's more information on this particular planning or video, Classy Women Plan Ahead. You can also see the article for the next two blogs, which are around dealing with difficult people and planning for networking. So that is all for now. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can comment below, or you can head over to the website and leave a comment under the blog. And plan to be classy, ladies, and thank you. Take care.